Yeah. We on the rise, press record, now play. AI tools got me glowing every day. Faceless grind, I'm paving my lane. Me 2 times, yeah, we changing the game. Elevate me to you, vibe is brand new.
Early life and upbringing. Before we get into the drama and the headlines, I want y'all to understand something. Big Lex didn't just wake up and become a reality TV personality. She comes from 2 very different worlds. Strict Black father in Ohio, more relaxed Mexican mother in Arizona, 2 households, 2 cultures, 2 sets of expectations. That kind of upbringing builds adaptability, it builds code switching, it builds awareness. Let's hear how she explains it herself.
So you're talking about was the relationship between your mum and your dad, and that, you moved about quite a lot when you were younger, and you did like 1 year here, 1 year in Ohio, 1 year in Arizona.
Yep.
What was that like for you? Did that cause a strain on the relationships that you had growing up as well?
Honestly, no. So my dad, Akron, Ohio is very, very small. So like I always went to the same school. Like if I would go to Arizona, if I would go there 3rd grade, I would go to the same school 5th grade.
Okay.
And then I went to their high school and I spent my last 2 years there. But I always went to the same school in Ohio. When I was in Arizona, I was kind of moving around a little bit more, but I still kind of had my friends and stuff like that. As far as the change, my dad, it was 2 different cultures, 2 different lives.
Because your dad's Black
And my mom's Mexican. So it was like my dad, he was more strict, and that was my Black side of the family. And like I was living a certain way over here. Then I would go with my mom, she's Mexican, that's my Mexican side of the family. And we lived a certain way over here. So it's like I feel like I got the best of both worlds, honestly. Like it wasn't, a lot of people would think that it probably like affected me.
Yeah.
No, it was just, that was my life. Like that's what I knew. My mom's here, my dad's here, I'm traveling between the 2.
That's very unique, actually. That's
Yeah.
and I think it's unique and great that you left that experience and you don't have any negative like trauma associated with it.
Exactly.
But was there any point that you had resentment towards any of your parents for separating and you kind of having to, step into this life that you didn't ask for?
No. Honestly, I feel like my mom, was from Arizona. She moved to Ohio to be with my dad. When they broke up, I was in like 1st grade. So it was like, that was just kind of all that I knew. But I also liked it because I got to live 2 different lives. I got to meet people over here. And I feel like I'm kind of, my whole life I've moved. I went to different colleges. I went to Arizona, Ohio. So I feel like just my variety of like the people I know in my life and I came across is just very, very broad.
Yeah, I love that. What was like the worst and best parts of each culture? Because I don't know if they're similar or if they're very different.
I would say my mom, she was a little bit more lenient. So it was fun. Like I was able to have fun. My dad, he was a little bit more strict, but my friends, like my day 1 friends from when I was little, they were in Ohio. So like I would always stick to them. As far as my mom, I just feel like it was just 2 different cultures. Like my dad, he wasn't strict, he was stern. And my mom, she was a little bit more lenient. So I'm sure you can imagine the
dynamic.
of that.
I was gonna say take the piss, but that's like British lingo.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Like, huh?
Yeah.
But you feel like you pushed the boundaries a little bit more with your mum because you knew she was like, when you're there, it's like, okay.
I never took advantage of it.
Okay.
I never took advantage of it. I actually respected my mom to the fact where I didn't do certain things, even though I know I probably could, maybe get away with it, or I never like pushed. I was very respectful. Like I never tested how far I can go or nothing like that.
Okay. You was a great child growing up.
Yeah, I wasn't. I love my mom and my dad. I respect them both.
I love that.
That right there explains a lot. When you grow up navigating 2 completely different environments, you learn how to read rooms fast. You learn discipline from one side, flexibility from the other. That's not chaos, that's conditioning. And if you think about reality TV, it's constant room reading, constant energy shifts, constant power dynamics. That foundation probably prepared her more than people realize. From college athlete to baddies. Now here's where the plot twist happens. Business administration degree, college basketball player, corporate plans, structured future. And then she sees a Baddies audition flyer. This wasn't random. This wasn't accidental. This was a pivot. And sometimes pivots look crazy until they work. Let's hear how she made that jump.
I think that's testament to kind of how you progress through life because, as I said in the intro, you graduated from college and you also played college basketball.
Yeah.
And you got a scholarship actually to go to uni. When you got the scholarship to do business administration, what were your goals in mind for when you leave college?
So if you were to ask me while I was in college what I would do once I graduated, my plan was to graduate, work a corporate job for like a year or 2, save up, and then invest.
Okay.
When I had got casted for Baddies, I was in between finding that corporate job. I had graduated in May. I had a job, and in July, Baddies had announced that they were having their audition. So in between those little 2 months, I was working at just like a temporary job. I was like an office girl, but I was going to eventually apply for big corporate jobs. Once I had went to auditions, once I had seen that Nat posted it in July, I didn't apply because I knew I was gonna make it. I just had to go. Like it was, and I just feel like it's so powerful to say because not everyone gets a chance to like. Not everyone has that mindset.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that they know that they can do something. I knew in my heart that that is what my life was gonna be. I was planning on seeing my mom. It was a temporary job. I planned on seeing her in November. I said I don't think I'm gonna be able to come because I was started planning my life as if I had made it before I had even made it, before I had got casted, all that. So within that time I was working, but that was kind of my plan. Work up, save, invest.
So my question is this, yeah, because I think that is quite a, not traditional as in, but yeah, a traditional career pathway, yeah? Like I want to save up, I want to invest in something. But then you speak about seeing Natalie post Baddies and then saying, I know I'm going to be on this show. But you're coming from somewhere where you have potentially a very respectable career. A lot of success can come from that, and where people will see you in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
And then you gravitate towards this show that is a reality TV show that people are fighting. You, my darling, are taking people's faces to different places.
Yeah.
What was that like for your family when you said, I don't know if you told them that you were going to go audition?
I did.
What was that like for them?
So I was actually like scared to tell my dad because he's always been like a really big on sports and like just pushing me through sports and stuff like that and just like staying on me and stuff like that. So when I told him, I was like, yeah, Dad, I said, I think I'm about to go audition for the show called Baddies. And he was like, what is it? And I was like, they fight and it's like a reality TV show. And he stopped and he was like, go. He was like, go. He's like, man, like, that's hard. Like, go. He pushed me. So after my mom, she was just like, go, whatever. But my dad was really the one that I was like, wow. I don't know. And once he said that, I didn't care what nobody thought. My parents don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going. And I'm going to go all the way. And
Do you have siblings?
I do. I'm a big sister of 7.
And how is that? How is this for them?
Honestly, I feel like I'm not going to say, I'm just showing them that they can go as far as they want.
This is what people miss. Athletes are wired differently. Discipline, competition, performance under pressure. Reality TV is performance under pressure. She didn't abandon structure, she transferred it. Whether you agree with the platform or not, she approached it like a competitor entering a league. That's strategy. The big 3 and persona shift. Viewers labeled them terrorizing the OGs. But she says it wasn't some master plan. It evolved naturally. This is where perception versus reality gets interesting. What fans see as calculated aggression might just be alliances forming in real time. Let's hear her explanation.
So we're going to fast forward a little bit, and obviously I'm a very big I love reality TV. In the UK, we don't really have a reality TV scene or culture here. So obviously everything we watch as reality is US. And so I saw your audition. I saw when you came in Baddies Midwest.
Yep.
Baddies Midwest. And so you came in as part of, well, you didn't come in as part of, but you formed a group, that was referred to by everyone as the big 3. Obviously that was you, Summer, and Dolly. And I think for us watching as viewers, when you came on, you guys were terrorizing the OGs. Did you come in with the mindset of like, I need to make myself be known on this platform or on this show, and that's why it just kind of rolled out where you were just not having it from the OGs?
Yeah. No, I would say like up until maybe Hawaii, me and Dolly had got close. Like when we were Dolly, Summer, we all had got close in Cleveland. It didn't portray that on camera though. We were kind of more so cool behind the scenes. I had my own thing going on, like with Ivory. Me and Ivory were going back and forth at it until we weren't, and we got close. And when it got to Hawaii, that's kind of when the shift was like, okay, now it's us against the OGs. And everything happened kind of like naturally. Like everything happened naturally. And yeah, it was just like, it was what it was. I'm reacting. Like it's just like a reaction is kind of how I was like going about the season. Like I was just reacting to everything. And if reacting caused me to do this or this or this, then that's what it was.
What was your most challenging fight on Midwest?
Definitely the first day, first fight with Ivory. We were in the grass.
Okay.
That was my first fight. Like my first, because I was going to say like, the feeling before you're going to do something. Like I knew that I was going to have to fight her once I got off the bus. So I'm still having that little butterfly feeling like, okay. And so we ended up fighting. And once I had gotten to the moment, I was like, okay, I'm cool. And then after I fought her that day, I was like, okay, whatever. My biggest part, like we were up on each other. She threw me to the ground. So after that, I took that from that whole fight, all the rounds we did that day. I only took the fact that she threw me to the ground. That was like the part where I was like, nah, like it wasn't sitting right. Like
no, but it never sits right with you when you lose.
Exactly. And I didn't
even lose,
but I just like she threw me to the ground. So that was the biggest part of that day that I had took away. And then I fought her again the second day. and I got my confidence back. I got my, you feel me? I got my stuff back.
Yeah, I think like as a viewer,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, oh, I would be so tired. Like, but then you are someone that has stamina generally because you play sports, right?
Exactly.
Well, something I was thinking about was obviously, as you said, like you kind of come into the show and it's straight off the back, it is a lot of fighting, right? But you're someone that went to college.
Yeah.
I know that Natalie, for example, does college tours.
Yeah.
Why would a college book baddies to come and talk to young girls is something I'm trying to get my head around.
Honestly, I would say we're not only, that's our job. Okay, so everyone has certain jobs, and it's just like we're more rowdy, but we're paid to do our job, and sometimes we fight, whatever. That's the difference, though. We get paid to fight. Boxers, they fight. MMA, they get brutal. They fight. We street fight, I guess you could say. And honestly, I feel like it's just, there is smart baddies. Like me, I came from college, and my message to like colleges and stuff like that is just go for what you want. Do have your priorities straight first. I went to college. I went through school, graduated. I did everything that I was supposed to do first. From that point where I was graduated, the sky was the limit. I could have been this. 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 But no matter what, I still have my college degree if all else fails. So, yeah, I would just really just say, just go for, what you want and just be ambitious. And whether that's being on a reality TV show fighting or working, a corporate job, you can do whatever you want to do.
And I think you're a testament to that. I think you're definitely, like you said, like sometimes showing more than saying.
Yeah.
So you are one of the baddies that I think can say that. But I also think about like whether it bothers you, the influence that you potentially have on young girls that are watching shows like Baddies. You think, okay, you know what, well, actually, I know Lex is saying go to college, but I'm not going. I'm just going to go this way. Like, do you ever worry about the impact of the show on young girls?
Honestly, I would say I don't encourage this, but at the end of the day, it's a job. I'm not encouraging girls to fight on the street or be rowdy for no reason. And I get paid to do my job. So this is more so, in real life, I'm not a fighter. In real life, I'm not.
Couldn't tell.
Right. In real life, I'm not. I'm just, I'm me. On the show, it gets like that, but I feel like that's, I don't know.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah. I feel like, when I have to show up to work, I show up to work. Once I'm not at work, I'm not at work. So it's really, I look at it as a job. It is a job.
Sexual identity and public relationship. Now, this next part matters because it shifts the conversation from drama to identity. She identifies as fluid. She doesn't box herself in. She likes what she likes. In reality TV, labels become weapons. Let's hear how she defines herself.
To another direction, right? I watched the interview and you were talking about your girl. I don't know if she's still your girlfriend, actually. Are you single or in a relationship?
I'm single.
Okay, you're single. And the interviewer asked you if you identify as a lesbian, and you said no. I want to talk to me a little bit about that, because for me, if you're in a relationship with a woman, that would put you in the category of a lesbian, right? Or
you could be
bi-curious or bi. Oh, okay, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
So, but in that category of like not heterosexual is what I would say.
Right.
So, do you still identify as bi, or where do you sit?
I identify as myself. I like what I like. So it's just like it's not I'm this, I'm that. Like I feel like that's getting
technical.
Yeah. I like what I like.
So you might be with a man next.
Yeah. I want to eventually have kids and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's like
okay. So even if you're with
that was
a
my
woman.
first girlfriend.
Oh,
that was
like ever,
girlfriend.
right?
Yeah.
And you guys were on the same team, so you knew each other for some time. How was that navigating a relationship on Baddies?
It's honestly, I feel like she always knows me as Alexis.
Yeah.
So the change for her, she's not looking at me how everyone else is looking at me. Like, people see me like, oh my gosh, Big Lex. And she's like, you're still Alexis, which obviously I am, because when I go home, I'm Alexis. So for her, it was just like, kind of like watching a movie, I feel like she literally watched me go from here. Like we struggled together so bad. And then now she sees me in the spotlight and stuff. So I feel like she was always behind me no matter what. She was like my two eyes, like in the back of my head, like watching over me. And so, yeah, I feel like for her it was just kind of like watching a movie, honestly, like watching me just grow into who I am today.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Why are you guys not together anymore?
I just feel like we didn't work out. It was just a lot of just banging heads, and I'm at a point where I just want to clear mind, peace. I have a lot of other stuff to focus on. So, yeah. But we're still cool though. It's all love. It's not.
It wasn't horrible. And
yeah,
messy.
it wasn't bad.
That's clarity, not confusion, not apology, just ownership. And being fluid in a public space means people will try to define you for you. That's the part most viewers don't consider. Identity plus fame equals scrutiny. The summer controversy intimate incident. All right, now we get to the part that blew up the internet. Conflicting stories? Who did what? Who initiated what? Who's telling the truth? But listen closely here. This isn't just about intimacy. This is about narrative control, reputation, dominance. Watch how firm she is in her denial.
How did that work with this situation with Summer? I don't know if you were still with your ex-girlfriend at the time, but obviously Summer said that. And actually, I'm going to ask you something.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say the statement first.
Right.
Summer obviously said that you guys had an intimate relationship, well, not relationship, but an intimate incident.
Yes.
And you said that she went down on you. She said you went down on her. But were you in a relationship at that time when this whole thing was playing out?
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, your face gave, no, don't go there.
Yeah, it was like more so, and after it happened, like I told my girlfriend that it happened because it wasn't gonna happen again. It was more so for like, it was just a fun night. Like it was, I guess you could say, I didn't do anything to her. I didn't put my mouth on her. And I feel like it's the passion that comes behind when I say I did not do that. I did not do that. And Summer has never, every time she says it or every time I've seen her in person after she said it, and I ask her one-on-one, so Summer, so I did this, I see, da-da-da. She'll brush me off or she'll just say little things like that. You can't, she knows better than to say it in my face. You can't, don't lie to my face and don't insult me in my face. You can say that to everyone else. You can say that on the internet, on live, on this and that. But when it's me and you and I ask you in your face, and I've asked her a couple times, she does it, she brushes it off. She can't stand on that. And that's the difference.
Relationship accountability. She also admits she had a girlfriend at the time, and she says she told her immediately. That detail matters. Transparency versus secrecy. Let's hear how she frames that.
Why would she say, I guess it gives her the upper hand, right? To say that you did that to her versus her.
Right. And she wanted, that was just, after it happened, it never happened. After it happened, I told my girlfriend that is what happened because it wasn't a secret. It wasn't a thing that like, oh, let me keep this from my girlfriend, like da-da-da. And of course, we deal with that behind closed doors, but it wasn't a intimate situation. Like it wasn't, I'm not going to say.
A night of passion.
Yeah. Like it was just a thing.
Whether you agree with her choices or not, she's emphasizing accountability. She didn't hide it. She addressed it. Public relationships on reality TV are almost impossible to protect. Everything becomes content. Everything becomes speculation. And that pressure cracks most people.
That happened. Okay. And I told her everything that happened. And what happened, it wasn't nothing on my end, but of course, we dealt with that behind closed doors. And yeah, I feel like she wanted that to be exposed, at least that it was a situation that happened with us. And obviously she's not going to say, well, yeah, I ate your, she's not going to say that. She's going to add controversy to the situation that happened. And that's what she did because, girl, she knows I didn't do that. And she is, I don't know if something's wrong. It happened one time. And after it happened, we never talked about it again. We were actually in London and she had asked to do it again. And I'm like, Summer. At that point, I'm like, girl, I just was brushing her off.
Because you guys were still friends at that point.
Yeah, we were still friends. But after it happened, it never happened. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to get drunk and we're going to go do it. It was not that. And I feel like that's how she tries to make it seem or tries to portray it. But that's not true. And again, in my face, like, it's just the passion behind it. I can stand on, I didn't do that. She just talks and rambles.
She repeats it multiple times. I did not do that. Repetition like that usually means one of two things. Either you're completely standing on truth or you're deeply invested in protecting your image. And then she adds something else important. She says Summer won't say it to her face. That shifts this from internet gossip to power dynamics. Because face-to-face confrontation removes the performance element. That's where things get real.
Are you sad about the relationship between you, Summer, and Dolly ending?
I was, but I kind of more so just embraced it. I feel like I'm away from, not necessarily, me and Dolly are still friends. But just like the way that everyone portrayed us as being a group, I feel like I kind of veered away from the image that people were portraying us as first.
That, not different, but you seem a lot calmer. You seem more open to the other girls this season. Do you feel like last season you were under pressure to uphold a certain, I guess, maybe persona because you were in that group and now you're able to stand alone? Or what do you think happened here?
I feel like it was me, Summer, and Dolly. And from the first day, it was us three against Fauna,
Killer,
and K-Rican. And then everything ended up being everyone and the big three.
Yeah.
So that just kind of, that's how it was.
It was.
And so we embraced the fact that, okay, all y'all against us?
Yeah.
We gonna terrorize.
That's important. In high-pressure group environments, alliances happen automatically. It's human psychology. Us versus them dynamics form fast. And once fans create a narrative, it sticks. Whether it was intentional or not, the Big Three became a brand. Sometimes reality TV edits personalities into archetypes. Villain, leader, instigator, protector. And once you're cast in that role, the audience rarely lets you out. Patience and the breaking point. This final part might be the most revealing. She says she warned Summer. She says she was patient. She says she tried to stay calm. And then she says when it got to that point, it was over. Listen to how she describes her breaking point.
Of Summer's face and what happened to Summer during that altercation. And we've also seen along the seasons what's happened with you and Tavi. Is there ever a point where you look and you think, oh, like, Lex, like, look at your hands, like, I need to chill, like, is there ever a point?
It was, for Tavi, after a while, I kind of started feeling genuinely bad and hurt. Like, I didn't like to just feel like I'm just keep beating somebody up. Like, I actually started to feel like, okay, like, I don't want to keep fighting this
But
girl.
she kept
like,
wanting to fight.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, cool, I get it, but I was starting to feel something within myself. With Summer, it was more so of a buildup. I warned her, I told her I was trying to be calm, and that's something I was trying to show is just my calm side and just being patient. I was very patient, I was very patient, and my last straw was her peoples attempted to attack me and hit me after I spared her so many times, and so I told her, if it ever got to the point where I put my hands on you, I'm gonna fuck you up. And that's what happened.
That's escalation language. She frames herself as someone who gives warnings before reacting. Whether that's perception or reality, it's how she wants to be seen now. And here's the interesting shift. Earlier seasons, aggression defined her persona. Now, she's emphasizing patience. That's evolution, or at least rebranding. Big Lex isn't just a fighter on a show. She's a former athlete, a business graduate, a reality TV brand, a public figure navigating identity, a person protecting her narrative. The question isn't just who's telling the truth. The real question is who controls the story. And on reality TV, that's the real power.
Yeah, we on the rise, press record, now play. AI tools got me glowing every day. Faceless grind, I'm paving my lane. Me 2 times, yeah, we changing the game. Elevate me to you, vibe is brand new. Built it from scratch, now we teaching you. Hit that sub, let the vision come true. This ain't just